All right, creating a Google form. And so first thing we need to do is get into our Drive. And so we've logged into Google and we're in our Drive. And over on the left hand side we have a create button. So we're going to go to create and we're going to create a form. Now it'll bring up a template theme. What kind of theme do you want? This can always be changed at a later date, not a big deal. And so I'm going to choose one. And I like to title it here just so I don't forget. I'm going to call it the trial form and hit OK. Now the first thing, especially if you're in a domain, which most schools are, you're going to have these settings at the top where it's going to say require and then your school to log in to view this form. Depending on what you want, it makes it restrictive to just people within Montevideo Public Schools. So if I want to get this out to other people, families, and just make it easier to get to, we're just going to click off that box. I'll ask you, are you sure you want to do that? And click OK. Okay. The other one here at the top is you can automatically collect their username, which again will basically make them sign in to see it. And you can show a progress bar at the bottom, which is kind of nice. It'll just show how far, if you have multiple pages, how many pages are left for the most part. It'll show like 25% done, 50% done. It's kind of nice. I mean, it doesn't really hurt anything to turn it on. So I usually like to turn it on. And then when we get into creating the form here, what we have here is your questions will go right here. And if you're ever wondering what does my form look like, just go to view live form from the start and just look at it. And so right now if I click on that, this is what I'm going to get. And so I have my obviously untitled question option 1. There's nothing there because I haven't added anything. Okay, and so at the top here we have your name of your form, what we've named it. We also have an opportunity to put a description. And so this is where I'll type in a description of my form or directions for the people taking my survey, quiz, whatever. Okay. And so now what I have is at the top, well, what we want to do is a lot of times in a survey we want to make sure name is on the survey. And so a good practice is actually to do first name and then create another question for last name. Okay, and so we have first name. You can add a little help text underneath, so if it needs a little more clarification, we could add okay. Now the question type, we don't want this to be a multiple choice question. We want this just to be a regular text question, so they can just put their answer in there. Now we'll get to data validation here in a second. You can also require this question if you so choose. So I'm going to require them to put their name on it, obviously. So that's first name. And now I can do two things. I can either hit done and then add a new item. But what I'm going to do here, since it's going to be the same question type, is I'm just going to duplicate this question. And it duplicates it down below here. The only thing I have to do is change this to last name. And it's required. And so on my form now, if I go to view my live form, this is what it looks like. First name, last name, star by it because it's required. And capitalize your first letter, please. Okay, so that's what my form looks like at this point. Now, depending on what you're doing, if you're going to use this in multiple classes or with grade levels, a lot of times, let's throw in a couple more identifiers. So maybe we want their email address. So we want their email address, so it gives us an opportunity to email them if we so choose. And on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the data validation because this will tell me, tell the respondent if they have done something incorrectly, it will tell them. And so I click on the data validation. I got to click on this little box to turn it on. And since the email address is a text, I'm going to choose text here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do email address. And so what it's really looking for is the @ symbol. So I'm looking for, so for instance, if I just put bramo and I don't put the @ bramomerved.net, it's going to tell me it's wrong. And so You can put not a valid email. And it will tell them that it's not a valid email address. And so I can make this required as well and hit done. And so now it forces them to put their first name, last name, and email address before they can submit it. Okay. Now, if depending on what I'm doing, we can either keep going with our quiz, or if you want more identifier information, some grade level, hour, more identifying information, you can do that. And again, you got to do what you're doing with your form. I'm just going to show you this as an example. And so what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to create a page break, because I want to go on to the next page. I want to kind of start over fresh on a new page, and this will be your quiz. Okay. Then I'll hit done. Now you'll see a little page break here, and now what I can do is I can start adding questions underneath here. So I'm going to add in a multiple choice question, which is going to be, what is 1 plus 1 equal? And we can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what I don't want to do really is, you can't even do it anymore, but select an answer. Used to be able to select this, and then when the form was live, people thought that they were selecting the correct answer. Well, it showed the students all the correct answers. And so you can move these around freely if you so choose. That's not a big deal. You can also require this question again. You don't have to. Hit done. And now what we have is a multiple choice question here. Now if I have multiple choice questions, so if I have, let's say, 3 more, I'm just going to duplicate these. Oops, I duplicated the wrong one. So let's add my question, and I hit the wrong duplicate. So 1 plus 1 equals 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then I hit done. Now I was duplicating the quiz page. I need to duplicate the question. So duplicate the question, duplicate the question, duplicate the question. So this will give me 1, 2, 3 questions. So if I want to edit this now, just because I don't want 1 plus 1 4 times, I'm going to edit this, and these are just simple questions. So 1 plus 2, I'm going to keep the same. Done. Edit. Maybe we'll go 2 plus 1. Hit done. And this one, I'm going to want 1 plus 3. Okay? And so now if I go to view my form, now it's going to tell me I need to get through here, so I'm just going to fill this in real quick. Hit continue. Now this is what my quiz looks like. And so I can go through and I can select answers and hit submit. So there's my quiz. Simple, easy. Now if you want to kind of getting into a little more advanced, so that's creating questions. Pretty simple. You can always take a look at the different question types. You have text. You can add a big paragraph, so a big box. So if it's more writing, multiple choice, you can do multiple check boxes. You can also choose from a drop-down list. You can add in some scales on a scale of 1 to 5. Those types of question. And then respondents have to choose 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. You can also do a grid response. Make them choose a date and a time. And a couple things that they've added here, which is nice, is I can add in a video to this. And so if I hit insert video, and so if I insert, let's do so basic edition from Khan Academy. So I can select that. And now this is my edition video, and I can hit done. And now below this video I can add questions. So if you have videos or some different things like video, and then it's kind of like a what will happen next, or what do you think about, you can do those types of things as well, and add in paragraph text underneath, or you can add in multiple choice questions underneath the videos if you so choose. You can also add in images. So if you have maybe it's a you want to label a certain thing, and you have them laid out as A, B, C, D around maybe a cell, labeling the parts of a cell. What is A, what is B, what is C, what is D. You can do that as well. Now, kind of getting into a little more advanced features, I'm just going to create a new section. So this will stay on the page. It won't go to a different page. It'll just stay on the page, but it'll be a different section header. So this is section 2 of your quiz. I'm going to hit done. And what I'm going to show you here is something multiple choice. So, for instance, if I have, how are you feeling today? And maybe it's bad, good, great. Okay. Now, if I click on this go to page based on answer, what I can do is, let's say if you chose the word bad, I can send you to a different page, and maybe it's more questions on why do you feel bad, or why do you feel good, why do you feel great, and so we can make different pages for these, and it will actually skip over pages. The way we use it, and we use it in registration, registering for a conference, is that if you chose the 2-hour session, we can skip over maybe session 2, because if they're all 1-hour blocks of sessions and you do a 2-hour session, you don't need to choose one in that second session, so you can skip over that and go to the next, which would be lunch or session 3. And so that's kind of where that comes in handy. It's real nice to have in your quizzes if you're going to use like surveys and things like that, if you don't want them to see a certain part of the survey based upon an answer in the previous that they previously answered. And so that's creating a quiz. Now let's say I have this quiz and it's ready to go. A couple things I got to do is you'll notice that we are accepting responses. That's good. Keep that on. If you don't want to start accepting if you want to stop accepting responses, you just click on that and it'll stop accepting responses. People can't fill in answers on the form. But we have to choose a response destination, because all the responses will go to a spreadsheet. And so a lot of times you can do new spreadsheet is what it'll usually default to. It'll say trial form and then responses next to it. You can pick on this box too. You can also add it to existing spreadsheets. So if you have maybe a quiz and you want hour 1, hour 2, hour 3, hour 4 on tabs on the bottom of your spreadsheet, you can do that as well. But I'm going to do new spreadsheet and just hit create. It'll set up the spreadsheet. And as that's setting up, now if I want to see it, I can go to view responses, and now I can see these right here. I can see all the responses that people put in, and down the line here with timestamp will automatically be there, and then all their information that they put in. Now in order to get to that, I don't have to always go back to my form. What I can do is in my drive now, it is a spreadsheet, trial form response spreadsheet. Okay. So back in my form, let's say I want to get this to people. A lot of times what I do, you can go to send form if you want. Here's your link to share, or you can put in your email addresses, whatever you want to do. A lot of times what I like to do is just go to view live form, copy this URL, and then I go into my email, I type in my email, and I put this URL in my email and send that out to kids. Or you can put it on your website and put this URL on a website. Kids can go there, click on it, parents can go there, click on it. Pretty simple, as long as they have access to it, and then they can go out and fill out the form, and all the responses go to your spreadsheet. And so that's creating a form. And if you really let's say I want this one's out of place, I can actually just take these and drag these, put them in the right place. Just know that in your spreadsheet is that in the order you created them, this is how they'll go. And so it won't necessarily be in order. You'll have to play around with your spreadsheet and move around if you screwed up. And so it's kind of a downfall, but not a huge deal. It can be done. So that's creating a form. If you have any questions, please let me know.